So one of the essences of boards is trying to identify its purpose. And that is no mean feat, because in the UK survey, we found that something like 85% of board directors, when questioned separately, could not agree on what is the competitive advantage of the company on whose board they sit, nor could they tell what makes it stand out, what's the differentiating factor. So number one, what you have on boards is such varied opinion. And with such varied opinion, the critical question is, who really provides, if you like, that clarity, that strategic clarity? And what we found in most of the world, except the US, it's very much dependent on the relationship between the chairman and the chief executive. So those two, and the quality of their relationship, and if you like, the idiosyncrasy of the quality of the relationship, because it can become very personal. And from that point of view, strategy is really a very personal phenomenon that most people from the outside would not understand, sets the tone for the board. Then the next question is, why do we want all these board directors? What is each there supposed to do? What experience do we want? What background do we want? How much time do these people devote to the company? We found, for example, in Australia, something like most board directors have only 2 or 3 directorships. So they can get really into detail in the company, and that provides them with the insight about what's happening in the company. In the UK, we're finding board directors, some of whom have 15, 16, 17 board directorships. Now, how do you understand what the company's doing if you're going to 17 separate board meetings every month? I mean, you must wonder which company it is by about the 15th board meeting. So it's in that setting that you begin to look at CSR and the relevance that CSR has. What's emerging as a practice is that CSR presented as a business case has greater headroom than CSR presented, if you like, as a social case or a community case. And there's a lot of merit in that, because if you take the Anglo-American world, it is still dominated by shareholder value thinking, even in public sector boards. So the big question mark is, how far can this company go down a CSR route and take shareholder funds and put them into community type of projects? But you can have a communal or social responsibility flavor to your strategy if you can show that the strategy has some sort of return to the shareholder. So number one, presenting CSR as a boardroom case, arguing that there will be benefit for shareholders and for other stakeholders is important. Number two, it is actually beginning to respect that it is a boardroom agenda item in the first place. And I think what has not been respected, particularly on UK boards, is that CSR is not just a business case. It's a case of corporate reputation. And if you don't start looking at some of the CSR concerns that could damage the reputation of the company, and in today's world of mature markets, where fundamentally it is so difficult really to tell the difference between the goods and services of one company versus another, the soft factors like reputation are the ones that can make you money or lose you money. So placing CSR as a reputational concern is critical. The third is, you'll never be able to control this one, and that is really what's the relationship between the chairman and the chief executive. Why has each one been appointed to the role? What's their real brief in terms of background? And how are they going to present themselves and the company to the press, the media, the shareholders? But at least if you take account of those three, I do believe CSR in the boardroom will slowly get greater prominence. It is improving, but with the companies that are good. And those companies are turning out to be a handful. Unfortunately, under close scrutiny with most companies, the rhetoric bit still prevails. So the feeling that we get from our team at Cranfield is that the gap between those companies that are very good, very socially conscious, responsible, is actually widening between them and the rest. We're probably at the stage of getting over academic thinking, academic research. So we're just at the point, if you like, of understanding the management and leadership science of making CSR work.